Today I'm going to be talking about transparency with developer teams, and in specific looking at how Planetside 2 seemingly have really stepped up their game, well, developer wise, to really communicate with their community. And if you didn't realise, on the Planetside 2 Reddit, the moderators have put in a new flare system, so whenever a developer posts in a thread, you can see it at the top. It says dev post, and that's really handy because you can always know whether or not somebody's actually responded to it. And it seems most of the time, if somebody has a query or a problem, a developer will step in and answer it. For example, the other day, there was a CPU spike, and a developer, Josh Krieger, or Krieg something or another, it'll be on the video and I'll look silly afterwards. I just remembered the GIF of Krieger from Archer doing a lot of coke, but was basically fiddling a screwdriver at an MP5. Also, guys, look at the FPS. It's going above 100 again. I was even getting 200 FPS in the warp gate when there wasn't much action going on. And it's constantly on GPU bound now, rather than this CPU spiking. And although in some battles it dips down to like 50, that's just sort of impossible for me because I'm such a graphics whore. I can't turn down my graphics. I love beautiful graphics, but the game is buttery smooth, at least for me, although some people have been saying that they're still having troubles, but I'm unsure because I was reading the thread if what they were doing by closing down threads themselves was actually creating a problem. But maybe people could put some feedback below as to whether or not it's still affecting them, but for me, I haven't had any problems so far. I did have a problem because I accidentally opened up two games at once. I was playing Armored Warfare, the tank game I showed off, and this game at the same time, and it didn't like that. My computer was like, no, you're not doing that, mate. We're shutting down. Well, it didn't shut down, but it just sort of froze. That aside, I think that transparency and communication is only a good thing, and as we've seen in these threads, they get a lot of good feedback. It's just jolly, it's a nice back and forward, and it's just creating rapport with the community, and at least we know they're trying to do something. I think people are very easy to completely rag on developers straight away when there's a problem, but without thinking about what actually goes in back-end to develop the game, which can be a lot of work, and stuff that goes completely over my head. Like, try reading the guy's information on the CPU threading. I mean, you understand the words, but not the coagulation or the formation of the words. It just goes over my head, at least. And also, the developers are doing a lot more with constant updates. For example, we've got Xander Claus putting out posts, well, pictures of each base he does, so it gives us a chance to give a bit of feedback. And this sort of involved developer-player relationship is really good for the development of the game, and I'm actually feeling rather confident about Planetside 2 at the moment. Oh wait, I didn't mention the other good thing. So there's this YouTuber, I don't know whether you've heard of him, Wrel, who has been hired by DBG. This is just another step to bridging the gap between player and developer, and I wonder whether he's had any effect on the developers' interaction, but that's another story, because he did say that he's been doing quite a bit for quite a few weeks now. But Wrel definitely is one of the sort of central conjunctions for a lot of Planetside 2 players to get their ideas across, and he does talk a lot to all the content creators, and he watches everything that goes on, like a lot of us YouTubers do, but it's good to have somebody there that really has an overview of all the players' opinions outside of what's going on in the developer's realm and the nitty-gritty of the coding and everything else, and giving some perspective on how something actually might play out to the player base. And he generally has good feedback to the team and has good ideas, and I'm very confident that he will do well within the team. And although we've got to be realistic with what resources they have at the moment, I'm still very optimistic about the future of Planetside 2 at this point. And I do really think this sort of transparent interaction between developers and players is really beneficial, and is a shining light and example of how development teams should act towards their community and their player bases. And it really does sort of diffuse a lot of the frothing at the mouth so that they don't choke on their own frothy saliva. that out of the way, congratulations to Wrel, and thank you all to the developers working on the game hard in the background, which aren't interacting with the community as well, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is the game gets made. But I do think that some interaction and answering questions, especially prolific ones that are top of the community's hot list, is a good thing. And finally, I was meaning to do a loadout video today, but I realised I hadn't unlocked all the stuff necessary to do it. But I've got some footage on my new lens for my camera. It's the Panasonic f1.4 Summilux DG Leica lens, and it's pretty beautiful. But my acting in this little small clip that I'm gonna sort of interject into the video is very, very cringeworthy, but I'm sure you'll all enjoy it anyway. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Until next time, Joshino.